In this Python screencast, we're going to quickly revise mathematical, logical operators and getting Python to do some maths for you. And we're going to take a look at casting, which is where you are changing a value in a variable from one data type to another. Okay, so a logical operator, just to make sure we're clear, that is a logical operator: plus, minus, multiply, divide, less than, greater than, is not equal to, and a variety of others. Those are logical operators, and Python does understand these. So I'm going to be using integers here, which is a whole number. So I'm going to assign a variable called number1 equals 10. Now that isn't in speech marks, so we must assume that, well, we know that is an integer. So I'm going to say number2, another variable, equals, let's say 5. That is an integer as well because there is no speech mark there. Of course, if I'd done that, that would assign the variable number2 the string of 5, but that would be useless because you can't do maths with strings when sentences. You can only do maths with numbers, so we're going to leave it like that. Finally, we could say total, a third variable, that one, equals number1 plus number2. If I F5 and OK and run that, we actually get nothing on the screen. That isn't an issue because it has actually calculated that total is going to be number1 plus number2, which we know is 15, but we haven't told it to print total. So I could say print total like that. F5, OK, 15. Yeah, you can use different logical operators. You could say minus, let's F5, OK. This time we've got the result of 5, which is correct. You could use the multiplication symbol. Let's find out what 10 times 5 is. Mysteriously, that is 50. Let's use the divide sign as well. F5, OK. And there you go, 2.0. So we've used integers here, whole numbers they are, and we've printed out some calculations and use some different logical operators. You can do all sorts of complicated algebra. Anything that works with algebra and bid maths will work in a Python equation. But this brings us on to casting, which is where you are changing data types from one to another. So we said just now that that is a string, that is an integer, I beg your pardon, of a 10, and that is an integer of a 5. The issue, if we put total back again, total equals number1 plus number2. The issue comes if you try to do something clever, like print in a string, your total is like that. Let's do a space, and then do plus total, which we know means concatenate and combine the sentence together. So combine that bit of the sentence with whatever is in the total box. This will give us a very common error message. Let's have a look at it. There you go. The two relevant bits here, that is the line it has an issue with, which is the line we just wrote. And what this is telling you, the reason for the error, is it can't convert an int, which is an integer object, to an str implicitly. So we can't convert an int to a string. What that means is that that is an integer, as we know, because 10 plus 5 is 15, which is a whole number, and it's worked it out as 15. And this is a sentence. And what this line is actually trying to do is do 15 plus, and then a load of random characters, and which obviously doesn't make sense. You can only do 15 plus or minus another number. So the answer to that is we need to convert total, which is currently an integer, to a string. To do that, we're going to use this line, str bracket bracket. All right, that's just to show you what it looks like. We need to put in total into this bracket here. So now what this line is saying is convert whatever is in total, which is currently the integer of 15, into a string, which is now a 1 and a 5. It doesn't know it's 15 anymore. So let's put that in here instead. So I've just copied and pasted that in. So I said now print that statement, then add on this sentence here, which is a string of total, which was 15 integer, but is now a string. So let's run that. Your total is 15. That works the other way. If you had an issue where you wanted to convert a string to a integer, for example, let's say age equals input, how old are you, like that. If we then said print, let's say age plus 10, so we're going to say age equals age plus 10, and then print age, we should get an error message here as well. So how old are you? I'm going to say 10. and now we've got a problem. We can't convert int object. That is because by default Python has assumed that the age you've entered in is a string. So it's trying to do a string plus 10. So we actually need to convert age to an integer. So to do that, I'm going to use this line, int. Okay, anything that goes into these brackets are converted into integers. So I'm going to say age equals how old are you? Age is now going to be the integer version of age. So then age can continue, age equals age plus 10, and print age. Let's have a look. How old are you? 10. I'm now 20 because it added on 10. Hope that is of use and can be made use of in a NEA.